All right. Welcome. We are back. I am back with another late night stream. I really got to start doing these during the day, but whatever time it is, wherever you are tuning in right now, welcome and thank you for joining us. We are live on 2 YouTube channels, 2 Twitch channels, 2 Twitter channels, 3 Facebook channels, 2 Rumble channels, and an OdySee channel right now. And whatever you're tuning in on, welcome. Thank you for being here. And I am back while I can be. I've been a busy guy. I've been hiking all over. I've been exploring, and I've been all over this summer. So right here, first up, I have some of the pictures of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. For those that are unaware, that is this site right here that you can see at the faramfoundation.com, where he has done scores and scores of research breaking down the geoglyphology of this site, the ancient faces that align with Nazca, Peru, and all of the different geoglyphs in Peru, in the Peruvian deserts. Here it is in the Alberta Badlands. The Mayan with feather head serpent headdress. This guy right here, this road that you see here, and that is what we're looking at right here. This is one of the hills that make up the feathered headdress Mayan warrior, and they're all terraced. Every single hill here is artificially constructed with these terraces, and you can see here's more of the hills making it up. Once again, you have terraces everywhere. And welcome, Logan Rothstrads, Slowboy Whiteboards, Kim B, and everybody in the chat. Good to see you all. Thank you all for tuning in. And what does everybody think? Are these man-made? I think so. I think this is artificial construction. These are man-made agricultural terraces, just like we see all over the world in different megalithic sites, from the UK, from Ireland, from Scotland, to South Africa, to Yemen, to Peru and Bolivia. Also here in Alberta, Canada, we have giant terraces, hills upon hills of artificial terraces, artificial construction. And these are exactly what makes up the Alberta or Medicine Hat Badland Guardian figures that you can only see from far above. To say that a primitive society, primitive culture built this is impossible. They needed above ground view just to be able to appreciate or see this, yet alone the the architecture and engineering behind making these things. It's just ridiculous, the amount of macro terraforming. And that's where some people get away with cognitive dissonance and believing that it's just pareidolia. But I believe this right here shows that these are artificially constructed hills full of terraces that used to be used to feed the society, the people that built these at one point in time, and just terraces remaining. Empty badland terraces no longer being used, and that this area is now arid and close to desert as opposed to once flourishing that it must have been to host all of these people and make these macro sites. And so I was here, I believe, the end of June, early July. That or no, sorry, it was mid-July that I was able to make it here and visit this site with my wonderful mom. And we explored all of different spots in the different Alberta Badlands, a section that actually runs from Drumheller, Alberta, world famous Royal Tyrrell Museum, north of Calgary, 450 kilometers south down to the US Canadian border, and the Milk River Writing on Stone Provincial Park UNESCO site Badlands that I'll also be showing here. That we also visited in this tour. And this being a very interesting rock, something, it looks more like a giant, like plaster or fossilized bone chunk. Absolutely strange and something I'd never seen before in all my years of geology studies and exploring. This rock really fascinating, and how porous it was almost chalky. I wish I was able to get a sample of it, but I was trespassing and wanted to get as much of these terraces and different sites explored as possible and documented while there. Here we go, another one of the hills with perfect parallel terraces again. And just for reference, it is this guy right here, seen from above. That is a big road that we accessed this area on. And I hopped over and was wandering through the different hills that make up this Mayan feathered serpent headdress figure. And that's actually about 20 different hillsides and inclines and whatnot, very steep, that make this figure up. It's actually quite a large space and size. Some cacti growing. Here again, you can see these terraces and what look like mounds, almost pyramidal in size, going through here of the Badland Guardians. And just fascinating sight. Hopefully I will be able to magically go back there this year before the snow falls. Sadly, funding is rather low. Donations have been low. For some reason, YouTube has been extremely shadow banning me. My views are low, revenue's low. I really need to get a job. And that is coming here going into the fall. I have been taking advantage of the summer and going out hiking as much as I can with my dad as well here. While I still can. 78 years of age my father is, and still hiking Bow Summit and Lake Louise with me yesterday. I'll show some pictures of that before the stream is done, and it is in my shorts on both channels. I'm uploading all my different hikes and explorations that I film while there. And as you can see, just these parallel terraces and unnatural construction clearly visible in each of these hillsides and faces. And that on some of the videos I uploaded that I shot while I was here, some of the shorts and stuff I go over that, showing the one animal path, the one rancher's path, and that the rest are these parallel artificial built terraces. There we got a deer right in the midst of this area, the Badlands. There goes Mr. Deer. Mrs. Deer, I should say. That's a doe. And this being the feather. All of these hillsides across being that main feather of this headdress coming out. My mom is 73 now, and sadly, she's got a couple knee issues and a hip replacement that she's waiting for. So she is not that mobile and can no longer do the hike. So I'm glad to have my dad out while we still can. And yeah, my mom stayed in the car while I ran out and covered all of this area, and was making sure the ranchers weren't coming to drive me off their lands. I did get the guy's number. I will be calling him back whenever I can afford to go back. But as of right now, it's not looking like it's going to be this year. That said, I did order my new drone battery, so I will be taking the drone out here, and I will be doing at least one more hike with my dad before the year is done. And I'm also going down at the end of this month to help my aunt and uncle move all of their furniture because they're redoing their floor, which my aunt and uncle, on the way down to their place in Cardston, there is head smashed in Buffalo Jump, which I also believe is a megalithic site that I've visited a couple times so far this year as well. We might even be going over some of those pictures today, but I should be able to get my drone out at least to the head smashed in Buffalo Jump before the year is done. And I'm also supposed to be going to Lake Louise with my dad again next week to hike the Beehive Mountain there. So hopefully I'll be able to get the drone out there as well. So here again, you can see these parallel terraces literally as I'm on the hill on them, showing that they are consistent and parallel. And there are these two eagles or hawks, actually probably hawks, that were soaring above me while I was exploring this area. And it was quite a magical, spiritual, energetic experience being here and finding all of these different terraces that make up this site and these geoglyphs. There's another really good one of them that you can see zoomed in. Another fascinating rocks I found on top of one of the hills that was the feathered headdress serpent Mayan warrior. More of the terraces again. These ones quite predominant. You can see them almost with stone. Modoc Roughstock, welcome. 14 now watching. Right, I got to start doing it in the prime time, but everybody that is tuning in that's awake wherever you are, if you can't sleep or if you're up for the morning or it's midday on the other side of the realm, welcome and thank you for watching and checking this out. Or if you're watching later on, or if this turns into a short that's uploaded later, also on TikTok, Instagram, several of my Facebooks. I'm actually generating probably about 50,000 views a week between Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and the two YouTubes and TikTok as well, and all of the shorts as well as the live streams. It's quite awesome, but sadly it doesn't pay enough, and well, I need to get a job, so that's why there's a lot less of these recently. And since I am completely crowdfunded, without your support, there are going to continue to be less of these, although I should have an interview episode coming up again with Walter Russell sometime, or sorry, Walter Bosley, not Walter Russell. That would be quite something from beyond the grave, but no, Walter Bosley, and pray to God it won't be from beyond the grave. Walter Bosley, excellent researcher and fellow streamer podcaster. Also will be doing a stream with Mike from Wandering Wolf channel, him doing absolutely epic work and has done many of the same sites, including the Red Rock Coulee that I was also at on this trip that we'll be going through the pictures of in a few minutes here, while we just finish up the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. And it is this guy right here that you see from above with his dragon serpent or feathered serpent headdress there, the Mayan warrior, the road, and then also this elongated skull dude on the right side. It is this section of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians that I am walking over, and there's all of these geoglyph sites that the Ferrum Foundation has found. Arthur Ferrum has shown the main geoglyph site here, and that all of the hills that make up these big sites that do the geoglyph mapping and everything that I've shown before with this, that it is in fact made of these terraces, and that I actually went and explored this site, and God willing, we'll make it back there this year, even with a job before the snow falls, because this is Canada and winters are harsh. And it was the hottest day of the year today, 35 degrees Celsius, and I'm already fearing the snow and the cold because, well, summer's almost over and winter's coming. Once again, you can see all of the terraces along these hills that make up the Badland Guardians. From top to bottom, complete parallel terraces, most likely once agriculturally used, and they are what make up this site. Another hill, once again, more of these parallel terraces making up the entire hillside. Sorry, I've got these pictures loaded on my secondary computer here, so when you see me looking away and the mouse not really aligning, it's because doing multitasking. More terraces on every single angle of every single hill that make up the faces that are these Badland Guardians, and that there's 10 in total, minimum, if not 15 different faces at this site now that have been discovered, all on private land. These inclines here, when I was talking with Luke and Julia in my stream last week, Luke stated that he's seen many of these in northern Wales and Scotland area, and that they're intentionally built for water catching agricultural purposes. Lurker D, good morning. Logic PTK, welcome. Dinner is almost ready. I know, it is a pity it doesn't pay the bills. And hopefully one day, right? Hopefully the shadow banning will stop, and instead they will let the world fully see and make Bernie trend. But everyone joining in, 20 of you now, 24 minutes in. Oh, and John Jones, welcome tuning in from Facebook. Please do share these videos out and like them, comment, subscribe, make sure you got the notification bell on. And we are at this site right here. Well, to be more specific, it is this site right here, this guy. That's the access road that's splitting up the two valley hills there that I drove in on with my mom. And it was this feathered serpent headdress guy that we're looking at all of the pictures of. And it's this entire valley of the Badland Guardians. Sadly, I was not able to make it over to the main Badland Guardian on the bottom right there because it's private land, but I was able to drive up and see the Mayan feathered serpent headdress guy and a bit of the long-nosed birdman guys there on the left-hand side. It's showing that they are, in fact, these guys are, in fact, all made of these artificially constructed terraces on every single hill. And it is not pareidolia, it is ancient architecture, engineering, and construction left over from thousands of years ago, most likely post or pre-cataclysm, or that, or the survivors and the remnants, most likely at the same time as the Nazca Peru lines and geoglyphs were all made. I'm guessing, as they do both point to each other, and through the geoglyphology, that's how Arthur Fairham first discovered this site. And where these numbers are the geoglyphs that have these different earthenwork lines that are specific lengths and angles that he is then able to plot out onto these maps, and then show that they go to all these different specific locations, mapping out exact territories. Then there's also the Red Rock Coulee site that I visited as well. We'll be going into that here in the second half, second part of this stream. We're now 27 minutes in. Welcome everybody that is here and that will be watching this at a later time. So this Medicine Hat Badland Guardian site, all the terraces that I discovered, the artificial construction here, another one. There are literally 50 different hillsides that I've taken pictures of here that all have these artificial terraces. Like, it's just it's phenomenal. It's really, really just astounding in size and the amount of actual terraforming, and that the ranchers, the owners of these sites, the land, they don't even know that this is like, that there's these artificial terraces, or that there's potentially buried civilization, and that this entire land is artificially constructed, and they're just grazing their cattle on here and have no idea. And I encourage them to start turning it into tourism, because this site is becoming more and more known, and it is a legitimate site that needs to be investigated. There needs to be LiDAR, there needs to be digs, and yeah, the Chad, right? So I'm gonna be, God willing, it'll be before winter this year, maybe September, October. If not, it'll be April, May next year. I've got the contacts of a couple of the ranchers, the owners, and I'll be going back to stay for a couple of days, actually take the drone, range it with them, and probably pay them a little bit of money to traverse their land and explore it and document it all, especially with the drone. And here you see yet another whole hill face of these exact same parallel terraces. It's just terraced hill after terraced hill. And no, I'm not saying terrorists, I'm saying terraces. Terraces. Just like there are throughout Asia, and they're still used for farming today. Or there's the ones in ancient Peru, Bolivia, even Ecuador, Mexico, Iran, Yemen, South Africa, that are all abandoned, just like, and no longer used, just like these ones in Alberta, southern Alberta, Canada, Badlands today. And yet again, another hillside with all of these parallel terraces. Nature does not make giant faces that are only visible from space with specific, right, and preventing erosion. Good point, Zeus. Good point indeed. It is preventing erosion and keeping those faces visible and intact. That's very, very good point. And why this site is still visible and recognizable from above and from space. And again, another full hillside of terraces, parallel terraces, every which way you look here. Oops, there's the owner's contact. I will be in contact with him again. Seemed like fairly reasonable, nice people. So hopefully we will be going back this year, if not next, and be able to fully explore and document and get the drone out and get some above ground footage of these spectacular sites. Okay, so we are finishing up the Alberta Medicine Hat geoglyph site, Badlands, and this is some of the private property, the ranch that owns the one main Badland Guardian, or the three, I should say, that are on that face. As we drive in, and there is Medicine Hat, and now we are at the Red Rock Coulee site, and they are what we were dubbing Bernie's balls at one point. Red Rock Coulee, all of the red balls and spheres, very mysterious. And in the background, this Badlands site, oops, also what looks like mounds and pyramids, making up these Badlands, this crazy, what looks like post-apocalyptic, just scenery and landscape. It's, I guess all the forest fire smoke doesn't help. This was over a month ago that I was here. Just as much forest fire smoke then as there is today. Quite scary. Alberta has been on fire since March of this year, and it is now August 18th today, and this is the height of Canadian wildfire season, and Yellowknife getting evacuated today, almost burning down. Soyuz, British Columbia, evacuating, full evacuation. I believe Sparwood's still on fire. Around Radium still on fire. Just West Kelowna on fire. So many spots. It's absolutely horrible. But we are talking about the Red Rock Coulee Badlands. Very, very awesome spot. And I found out its exact location and name thanks to Wandering Wolf. Shout out Mike at Wandering Wolf. We're going to be doing a stream together here before the month is done in the next 2 weeks here. And he also has visited this site and looked at it a few times, or has a few videos on it, including a drone that went over it. Now, we are going to take a short little break here while I take a bathroom break and a quick smoke break / 420 break, as it is 4 a.m. where I am, and why not? So we're going to play instead of, oops, sorry, there we go. I will get back to the Red Rock Coulee as well as the other sites as when I get back from this break, but we are going to watch a little video on how you can run your vehicles on hydrogen, and that's going to be a goal for this next year so that I can travel all over next summer and not have to worry about high fuel prices, because we'll be burning just water and water to hydrogen. This guy's doing it. Check it out. Oh, is there sound?
Making fuel from water is extremely easy. much more easy than they would like you to believe. This is just water, electricity, and some baking soda, and about 29 amps. We found that we can inject this in the state of vacuum into our engine and double our mileage under certain circumstances. Now, I'm running a V8 350 and have been for 30,000 miles. It all starts with the wiring. You get some number 10 gauge wire to conductor and run it to a switch, which you put under your dash. I'm using a regular 120 volt light switch, which is rated at about 20 bucks. I'm only running at about 13.8 volts DC. The switch is not worn out or burned up yet. It seems to work flawlessly. This is the ground wire that I connect to my frame. If my battery was over here, I would have put it to my battery just for convenience. Now I'm going to set the jug right here next to the master cylinder. I just happen to have room for a gallon jug. This is the vacuum line that goes to your carburetor. This is the master cylinder here that is your brakes, controls your braking. So we're going to take advantage of the vacuum pressure of the engine right here where it's strongest. Can get like 16 inches or more of vacuum at certain times. And we're going to set a pad here and install the jar right here. We're going to put about 3/4 full on the water. And I've already added baking soda to it as an electrolyte. Now this is a very fancy cell element design. Don't be disillusioned by how fancy this looks, because very simply you can get 3 faceplates of high-grade stainless, some Teflon nuts and bolts, and for about $5 you can make this. You have notched it for the wires. Put the positive in the middle, put the negatives on the outside, and boom, you've got it. I've just made a more advanced version. You run the wires through the lid like this. I'm going to install this down here, and we're going to seal this up. And we're going to show you how this thing produces gas. This is the positive wire, which I run to the alternator. I've installed a 30 amp auto reset fuse on both sides, positive and negative. So I have redundant fuse protection in case of current overload. And the fuel cell will occasionally pull too much power. We want it to automatically shut off. We connect to the alternator because we have a lot more magnetic field right there, much more energy available than connecting it to the battery. So I highly recommend that you connect it exactly as you see in this fashion. This is the dryer jug. It's just another jug that's sealed off that has a particular way of plumbing. One long hose which goes to the fuel cell, the other hose barely in the jug which goes to the vacuum system. You put it down in the jug. Any overflow is automatically sucked back up into the other fuel cell. We've used poster putty, which is liquid Teflon, as a sealant. It is the most recyclable thing you can use. You can use it over and over and over. It's poster putty. It's the brand name for it. Don't endorse any products, but I don't have any choice. It's really the best thing you can use. Plastic hoses is what we use on our vacuum pressure fuel cell. It is part of the thermodynamics of the entire process. Again, poster putty placed around the hoses on the vacuum pressure fuel cell in the state of vacuum will suck into the small crevices and will not allow leakage. It has been working flawlessly for many years on my vehicle. I have over 30,000 miles running on the vacuum pressure fuel cell so far, and my engine performs incredibly well. It's a little tacky at times. When it gets hot, it will really seal well. This shows you some of the production in the vacuum state. That's a lot of hydrogen oxygen gas. It's enough to actually cool the water. There's 25 amps right now flowing through there, and we want to run it as close to 30 amps as possible. You can see a tremendous amount of gas. It will actually produce even more hydrogen and oxygen gas as the engine gets going, the RPMs are high, and the magnetic field is coming off of that alternator. Baking soda, Arm & Hammer, highly recommend it. It's the only one that won't foam up. Cheap stuff, you'll end up with foaming in the water, and you don't want foamy water. It's going to have some nasty buildup eventually, but don't worry, it's not a problem in the vacuum pressure fuel cell. The extra dryer jar in front takes care of anything that would fly into the engine. It's a very interesting system and has been used for many, many miles. A lot of people sell this for hundreds of dollars. You can build it yourself for about $55 in parts. Most of that is fuses and wires. And it is important that your alternator is able to handle the current. It will pull about 29 amps. So you have to make sure that your alternator is in good condition. When you get this thing hooked up right, you should see water coming out of your exhaust. As it gets going, the amount of water coming out could be tremendous. Depending on your engine, if you have any carbon buildup or nasty stuff in your engine, it will generally blow out right onto the ground in front of your eyes, steam cleaning the engine. This is definitely a technology that has potential. We hope that you take advantage of it. Thanks for watching.
Oh. Heyo, and I'm back, and it just ended, so that works out in the nick of time. And as you can see there, quite easily done. It appears quite an easy mod. Yeah, it does definitely look a bit sketchy. I wouldn't recommend doing it on a new car, but I do have a few friends with workshops with old cars that they're restoring that we're going to try experimenting with this. And for anyone interested in checking that video out and watching again, here it is. Hydrogen truck. Boom. In the live chat for everybody. And that was a little bit short, so I still need to run to the bathroom, but I did have my 420 break. So we're going to listen to a little bit of a Tesla Tech presentation. Max Miller on the Stan Myers technology, another hydrogen-powered vehicle from water electrolysis. Rest in peace, Stan Myers. For those that don't know, Stan Myers, epic American inventor that was assassinated due to his breakthrough water-powered vehicle. But the technology lives on. It's real. It's there. So we'll play a little bit more here, and then I'll be back with more pictures of my explorations this year.
You should be able to read that, I hope. I'll read it here where I can see it. The pulsing transformer. This is a transformer here. The two little lines signify a core of some kind. This is your primary, this is your secondary. These are what Stan added to a standard primary, a standard transformer. These are what he called resonant charging chokes. The resonant charging chokes happen to be the key to his process. By the way, you can download a PDF form of this directly from my forum. And on my YouTube, you can also see this, and it will give you the link to the forum to download this. So, he specifically tells you that there's an isolated ground between the resonant chokes and the transformer. Right here is his water cavity. The water cavity being something like this. There's two tubes basically. You have a negative and you have a positive, which 100 years ago someone figured out if you put a battery to water with two electrodes, it will make hydrogen and oxygen. So Stanley Meyer expanded on that greatly. Instead of the 100-year-old technology, he wanted to use a voltage potential, as in a high voltage static field. which he says here. Voltage amplitude or voltage potential is increased when the secondary coil is wrapped with more turns of wire. Any transformer, you have an input and the output is increased with more turns of wire. So now on his circuit, there's a blocking diode. If any of you are into electronics, you recognize a diode is an arrow with a line. So the blocking diode acts as a valve, like a water valve. The water is here stored, and then it goes through the valve in one direction. That's what a diode does. So here he talks about how it functions. There's a resonant charging choke, and then the water cell. The water cell becomes a capacitor, and then the charging choke is a simple, when you add the two together, you get what's called an LC circuit. LC circuits are well known in the radio field. If you want to tune into a radio station, you need what they call a tank circuit to tune into that radio station. You simply turn your knob on the radio and you get a radio station. Well, when you turn that knob, it changes something inside the radio that adjusts this tank circuit between the two. You have the LC tank circuit, which what it does is the energy in this coil basically equals the energy in this capacitor, and then the energy kind of bounces back and forth. It's what's called an electrical resonance of a circuit. They call it a tank circuit, which you can look that up on, you could just do a Google search and you can find an LC circuit or a tank circuit pretty simply. And then this goes into some of the algebraic equations for the LC circuit that he uses here. And then this designates the coil, the resonant charging choke coil, and this is the water capacitor. So you have an electrical circuit that becomes a tank circuit, what they call the tank circuit, which resonates back and forth. So when you send a pulse frequency into this, it just kind of hangs out there and bounces back and forth. And when it does that, it charges this capacitor, which adds a voltage to both sides of the capacitor, which when that happens, you get hydrogen produced in the water. The water actually splits into hydrogen and oxygen. So the 100-year-old technology was you just used amperage. You put a battery on it and 1 to 2 volts. The battery just used the amperage of the battery, and then you could make all the hydrogen you wanted. But it took a lot of power. So what Stan did was he designed the circuit, and instead of using amperage, which is a lot of battery energy, he made a static field out of high voltage. And then the high voltage is what separates the water into the hydrogen and oxygen. Then this goes on to explain, here's your circuit again. This is your primary of your transformer, and then this is the secondary. Then it goes through your diode, which is a valve, and then here's these coils again. These are both labeled resonant charging chokes. And then here's your capacitor again, which is natural water. And then he goes on to explain natural water is a dielectric liquid. And then he goes down here to explain the dielectric properties of natural water being 78.54 ohms at 25 degrees. I'm sorry. Water is 78.54 of resistance between the plates instead of, let me go back, I'm sorry. If you have a capacitor, the capacitor is formed with two plates. In between the capacitor is a dielectric. The dielectric is a semiconductor. Every capacitor has a semiconductor between the plates. That's capacitance. So here the water becomes the semiconductor, so therefore the water forms the capacitor. And then if you read this, he clearly explains the exciter array. Therefore, he's using more than one. That's important, actually. So we now know that this is a tank circuit here, and this is also a tank circuit. Now, the tank circuit is very important because it's what's called electrical resonance. Once you set up a step charge effect, you have a pulse coming in, the electrical resonance bounces back and forth. And once you have the electrical resonance, then it can oscillate as long as all you have to do is feed a little energy in, and it just kind of oscillates back and forth. So this is important as well. The circuit in the form voltage intensifier circuit, which is this circuit here, everything together is the circuit.
Let me know if the sound still works.
Now, in the form of resistance between the electrical ground and pulse frequency positive potential. So what he's telling us, see these little quotations around resistance? Resistance actually makes heat. Heat we don't want. So the dielectric between these two plates actually forms a resistance. But again, there's quotations around resistance. Reason being is it's a semiconductor. A semiconductor, you have to pass energy through something. If it's conductive, the energy goes straight through. If it's a semiconductor, it gets slowed down. If it's a resistor, it makes heat. If it's a semiconductor, as in resistance to voltage flow, there's no heat. So here, he explains that it's a modulator inductor. The reason he called it a modulator inductor, the inductors are here. Modulated because, just like your radio in your car, you have to tune it in. Well, what I can do is I can take a circuit board and then I can implant this pulse form into this circuit. Now, when I modulate it, I change the frequency of that pulse into this circuit. That's a modulation. So the modulated frequency actually goes into these resonant charging chokes. And as you turn the frequency, as you modulate it, you can clearly see that the voltage will climb and the amperage goes down.
All right. I paused it there and posted the full link in the live chat for everyone. Anyone interested in watching that in full, Max Miller explaining Stan Meyer's technology and really covering some crucial information there, especially the aspects of decreasing the amperage and using a lot of voltage. And then what I've been experimenting with and having great success is increasing the surface area of the reaction as well with these different coils. And the next step is to get a variac to step up the voltage into the thousands and create the electrostatic field within it that will then turn the water into that hopefully a superconductor, but the dielectric regular. Anyways, enough of that. Let us go back to the pictures that we were exploring. And good morning, Mike Gematria. Good to see you, brother. Good to have you. We'll finish looking first at the pictures of Red Rock Coulee here, and then we will go into Red Canyon in Waterton National Park, southern Alberta, as well as through the Badlands hoodoos of Writing on Stone National Park as well that I've explored. And that should do it for today, as we're already an hour in here. So here's my dog T2 going through some of these spheres, and they're all red. Fascinating stone. What looks like a mound, possible pyramid over here. And all of these spheres, how are they on top of the soil after all this time? Once again, in these badlands that seem to be ruins or catastrophic annihilation, essentially, that happens past civilization, catastrophe. Again, some cactuses in southern Alberta. And this Red Rock Coulee site is actually not about 50 kilometers. So what is that? 30 miles from the Medicine Hat Badland Guardian site with all of the geoglyphs. Thus are these connected badland areas remnants of a past super civilization? And is this all terraformed areas? Are these leftover artificial mounds and pyramids? Potentially, right? I need to go back and get check the astrological alignments and the north-south cardinal points of some of these hilltops and potential mounds. And then lots of them in these disc segments of the stones breaking open and separating in these fascinating discs. Very, very strange, interesting geology, to say the least. Is it geopolymer? Is it biogeology? I really don't know. There was rings in most of them that were split open. I do believe I will show some pictures of that here, of some of them that were split that I was able to get cross sections of, showing these concentric circle rings within them. And just next level sight. It's quite mind-blowing, really. Like, it's not doing it justice at all, yet still you can just see hill of these round giant rocks. Like, some of them are as big as cars. It's just nutty how big they are, how massive, and how many. And these badlands, these continued badlands. And so this is Red Rock Coulee, southern Alberta. Like, these look like artificial mounds, possible buried pyramids again. And just arid and desolate, desert-like, ruined areas that, what's causing this drought in what used to be or should be agricultural land. And what looks like more and more mounds amongst the red spheres and balls. Deserts in Alberta, Canada. Here's some of them broken apart. Another angle at that mound. And what looks like some step pyramids, possibly. Step pyramid, possible. Or buried buildings, possibly. Potential mud flood. Who does what look like now? It is claimed to be sandstone, Nikki. And it does look, the one sample I was able to take home does look like it is sandstone, but the broken ones were more yellowish sandstone, where the red one, the ones that are pure red or more red in color, none of them actually seem to break open or have any exposed sections like these ones that were like pure red. The one green rock that then had crystal inside, that was a fascinating boulder as well. Right, and what looks like mounds and pyramids potentially. Really just don't know what the heck would make such things. I guess there were a couple of red ones split open. My bad. Oh yeah, no, sorry. The red ones are the ones that actually have what looks like these concentric circles. There we go. Now, there we go. So here's the red one that's split, and then you can see the moss or whatever covering it that's growing, but within it are the concentric circles. Quite visible. Sadly, this has been vandalized, a bit scraped over, so you can't see it as well, but concentric rings, almost like a tree trunk or something. More visible like that, I guess, in that picture. And here's another one. You can see the concentric circles, the rings within them. So I don't know. It's very, very strange. Very strange stuff. So there's the rings, possible biogeology potentially. Not sure. Very fascinating, weird site, to say the least. And I definitely need to see if there's been LiDAR done it. This one here, I remember, is like the size of like a Toyota Matrix, like my mom's car that we drove there in. I remember that was the same size. And yeah, so again, they'd also break into these discs. Very interesting site. Hopeful, right? It truly does look awesome. Like, it was next level. And once again, shout out to Wandering Wolf, who's also visited this site and has a drone video of the site on his channel, as well as walk tour videos. And then in my short sections and my video sections on my channel, I've also posted some of the videos that I shot while at this site here, as well as the Medicine Hat Badland Guardian site, and all of the sites I've been at this summer. Make sure you go look through my shorts, as there's probably 50 published of my exploration so far this year, and I've got another 50 still to publish of all of these sites that I've been holding off on for a rainy day. And here we have the holes dug in, and they try to claim that it's eroded out, but right here you can clearly see that there's a layer, an outer, more red layer, that would have had to be chipped here, but eroded through, but it hasn't eroded through this outer casing layer. Like, you can see how it's chipped off here, this outer layer. This stone has collected in there with water, but it hasn't eroded through. It hasn't eaten through that outer casing stone. None of these have. They were formed with this rock when it was formed or drilled somehow, but it has not been eroded through because it has not eaten the outer casing shell that you can see right here. Like, that's still the actual, it's cracked, but it hasn't eaten through it. Once again, you can see it right there, the cracked portion, as opposed to all of these holes that have some dirt, some sand in it, but it hasn't eaten through or cracked through that outer case shell or layer. Here's the second one with the holes, same thing. Cracked piece, but hasn't cracked through. Very, very weird stones. T2 exploring. Could they be trees, seeds of massive things? I don't know. Like, could they be human-made or made by giants or something? I don't know. Like, I'm open to interpretation. Let me know. I just don't think it's as natural what they claim, just random mud circles that formed at the bottom of the ocean. Thank you, Logan. Yes, right. I've taken some amazing photos throughout the summer, and I haven't even begun to share 2% of them so far. We've got a lot more to go. There's more on my mom's phone. There's a whole bunch on my new phone that I need to transfer over to the computers as well to go through and do streams on. So we got lots of material for once the snow starts falling in winter, and that's why I've been not doing as many streams, taking advantage of getting out to the mountains and the Badlands and these sites while I can during the summer season here. This totally looks like a flat top pyramid to me. Mound. and just everywhere. And I maybe only explored and captured 5% of this entire site. Like, it's, oops. Yeah, definitely heavy in iron colorblind. I do agree, as they're quite red. Yeah, and right, these spheres are all over the world. It's very true. Sorry, I've got two different mouses. There we go. Trying to do that and this. There we go. There's Logan's video. Loading it up. Ooh, interesting. Right, and I've also got a whole bunch of geology samples that I have collected from all of these sites too, that I'll be doing more investigations of and more streams on, and some real science. And I've got several a rock cutter and a couple of microscopes to start looking at geology hopefully this winter here as things progress. And here's Logan's video. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, look at that. What is that? Very nice. I like it. Looks like lots of the Rocky Mountains that I have been exploring myself lately. Which is it? What's going on here? Is the picture loading? Oh dear. There we go. All right, so the border of this spot. So now we're at electrolysis. Okay, so we finished that one. Now we go to this one, Waterton Park. This being Red Canyon. To drive up, the first red peaks we saw, stopped at a half red mountain. And no problem, Logan. Pleasure. Like that. So this giant red outcropping and more of these red sections of these mountains. Interesting boulder. And you can see this guy's really red at the top here. And then this nice beauty of a peak right there, getting into the Rockies now. And what truly are mountains? Leftover remnants, buildings, titans, construct, God's grace and creation, creativity, or is it just a simulation? All right, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't think I buy that too much. But there's Ma. Oops. Alberta Rose, the official flower of the province of Alberta. This is fascinating. Green, completely green rock, not that burnt forest, but this face right here was very green. It was red segments alternating with green segments. Very interesting. Not really showing it that well. There's some of the creek coming down from this green section, so it was like this dry creek bed of just green stone. That was quite neat. There you go. There's showing the green section a bit more. Greenstone and the river. Interesting geologic formations. That are these foothill mountains. And oh, nice shot of the canyon and river. Sadly, all of this forest had been burnt by a forest fire about 5 or 10 years ago, I believe. And just decimated, but regrowing now, starting to flower. The wildflowers, actually, the fields and fields of wildflowers that are growing here underneath the burnt forest was actually very beautiful and spectacular. It was like fields of pink, purple, white flowers. That's not really a good picture showing it. Here we go. There's some bee balm, this stuff known as bee balm, type of herb and wildflower that grows in the wildlands here. Just everywhere. And then the bluebells. Lupins, wild lupins everywhere. It's quite spectacular. Quite a beautiful smell, scene, and sight. This is the site we were at in late June. It was the end of June that me and my mom were able to go here and check it out. That's some bee balm. My mom was actually basically homeless for 2 months this spring, summer when I helped her move all of her stuff to storage. Then she went and stayed with my aunt for a couple months, and we did all of these explorations. And now I just finished helping her move into her new place, helping her unpack some more tomorrow. And she's getting settled now, which is good. But that's why we were able to do all of these travels together and get it all done. And thousands upon thousands of photos to go through still and make different streams and videos on. It's going to be fun. Bee balm is good medicine. Good call, colorblind. 100%. And look at just fields and fields of lupins. fireweed, I think it's called, daisies. There's bluebells, the bee balm. Like, what is this mountain as well? Like, there's fascinating geology all over. None of it really makes sense to me. But I guess that's just me, right? Is it pyramids? I think some of these mountains are pyramids, actually, especially by Waterton Lake in Waterton Park here. That's later on in these photos and in this trip. But first, we will make it to Red Canyon here. So many photos. So many photos. Oh, am I going the wrong way? Oh dear. Oh, we are going the wrong way. What's going on? All right. It's almost like you're driving. Do. It's almost like a movie. Whee! We're driving. We're flying. We're going through Waterton Park. Hopefully it loads. Hopefully you're all seeing these pictures and not getting buffering. Do let me know in the comments. Sorry, I should have realized sooner we were leaving the mountains, not going into them. Sunset. I will do so. Which... Okay, it would have been on Crypto Alchemist, I take it. Which video did you post the comments on? Dr. Green? Oh, Dr. Greer, not Dr. Green, Dr. Greer. Gotcha. Oh, there was Mom. All right. Getting more into the mountains, more redstone. And come on. Holy, so many photos. Oh, am I going the wrong way again? Are you kidding me? What? No. Hold on. No. Oh, no. Is that a bigger mountain? No. Getting confused, going the wrong way, going back and forth. What am I doing? Don't know if I'm coming or going in Waterton Park. There's Mom again. All right, there we go. Bigger mountains, getting deeper in. Going the right way now. Here we go. Driving in. There we go. There's some big red outcroppings, more flowers, and more red. Red Canyon coming right up. And is that a face or is that pareidolia? I thought that's a face right there as well. I thought I saw a couple faces on here. I don't know. You tell me. Is it pareidolia or are those carved faces? But that's just one red outcropping. Wait till we get to Red Canyon. Looks like a face to me up there. Come on. Pictures. T2. Exploring. And then always these quartz veins in this red rock as well. Right? Doesn't that look like a face? But anyhow, even has the eye. And how many pictures did a guy take? The answer, thousands. Probably tens of thousands. Boop-a-doo. Thought I had it closer, but I guess I went the wrong way, so that also explains it. Come on. Oh, here we go. Now we're getting there. Red Canyon. Spectacular. This place was absolutely mind-blowing. What the heck? Where'd it go? There we go. Shaboomy. There's the bridge. And down here is the canyon. And wow-wa-wee-wa. This place is just wild. One of the coolest little canyons I've ever got to explore. And it goes down and it goes up quite some distance. There's Mom's. Mom's checking it out a little bit. Sadly, she couldn't. She got to hang out and explore it a little bit. She actually made it down to the water and took lots of photos of me as well that I gotta get, and we'll be doing a whole nother stream of Mom's photos of all of this, all of these journeys. But here you go, these quartz veins, quite predominant throughout this valley, this canyon, and just a fascinating place. Just astounding beauty, clear crystal water cutting through this red rock, just bright red rock that engulfs you from all sides. And the waterfalls just gorgeous, and they go up and go on, and quite the hike all the way up. There's an area probably 200-300 meters long open to the public, and then I have no idea how many kilometers it goes back in an area that they currently have closed off. But I did sneak into a little bit that you'll see some pictures of here shortly, claiming it's under construction. But that area that I did, you'll see some of the photos of coming up here. It actually looks a lot more artificial and megalithic and potential geopolymer in nature than this open area to the public, which once again, quite sus. Do you do thing on alchemy? That's the devil, because alchemy. That I don't. I choose not to play with devil or demons. I only go with light, love, and God, my friend. Light, love, God, and humanity. And yes, going into nature and the beauty of this earth. And here we go. These quartz sections are just fascinating as heck here amongst the red stone, and it's boggles me mind quite a bunch. All right, trying to do that. Here we go. And just canyon after canyon after canyon. and little waterfalls here. Oh, I'm going the wrong way again. Oopsies. Sorry. All right, that's down. Then we go up. So Red Canyon Waterton Park is what we're looking at right now. If you're just joining us, this is, see, look at these areas. Looking a little bit more constructed, potentially artificial, potentially. I'm not sure. But just beautiful, beautiful sight. The water was so nice. And these towering canyons of, man, like, is that supposed to be snakes? Like, it just blew my mind. Is it natural? I'm not sure. Not sure on these formations. And like big, like that's big. Oh, this site was just so amazing. Highly recommend checking it out. See, look at that. Does that not look like a snake? And this snake was connecting to the other snake that was under the water that I was just stepping on. Snake into snake. Oh. That was a weird rock. These out of place rocks and stuff. And the waterfalls. Just so beautiful. I don't understand how that forms, supposedly through thousands of years of erosion. It just, and these perfect quartz segments, like, oops, wrong way. And yeah, I took a lot of photos, and I'm glad that I did, because the beauty is just amazing. So that's going down towards the main river in the valley. And then I start heading back up the canyon again, and up the canyon is really beautiful. Cue. Silly buffering, but just waterfall after waterfall. It was so spectacular and just mesmerizing, and a sight that stays with you. It just unbelievable. The beauty, the natural, whatever it is, beauty of this place. Once again, in a national park, so that makes it suspect in itself, as we've come to find out in this research, that most badlands and most national parks, they are covering up macro sites. So is that what this place possibly is? And when we get to the photos of actual Waterton, the town of Waterton, that's also within this national park, and the mountain peaks that look like fortresses, castles, and pyramids on top of Waterton Lake. And here you can see now possible face, as well as the orange sign that is closed off to the public, supposedly under construction. And here I'm now going under the sign showing the giant, oh, not yet that sign, but showing the canyon walls growing in size as you come up to this closed area. Beautiful ferns everywhere. And, oh, construction site. Uh-oh, there's looking back towards the bridge, the main entrance there from the no-go construction area. Mountains in the background here. Just absolute gorgeous sights, like unbelievably beautiful spot. Oh, the Chad. You best believe I got me samples from every site I've been to, and we'll be doing follow-up streams just on the geological beauties of rock samples that I've collected. And look at the parallel quartz lines. Like, how does nature form that? And yes, this is definitely a sacred place. I believe there's even petroglyphs in some of the areas here going up it. And it's starting to look more like blockworky in a lot of the segments here, potential geopolymer. More faces I see as well in some of these coming out, and like the parallel quartz lines, like how? I don't understand it. These starting to look block-like. Potential megalithic stone. I don't know. And then, like, are these cut marks? Like, how does this stuff happen? Like it almost looks megalithic or cut or quarried out potentially. I'm not sure, but this is in the area that's closed off to the public, and it's very, very sus geology, very suspect, very looking block and megalithic, and suspect to say the least. I don't know. Up higher, and beautiful waterfalls. Just a beautiful, beautiful sight. Like these waterfalls were and pools, the water, it was magical walking up through it and swimming in it a little bit in the deeper parts. Take a little trip with me. Welcome from Florida, my friend. We are looking at Waterton Park, Alberta, Canada, at the Red Canyon, Waterton National Park. And my God, do I really want to get back here as well? Hopefully I might be able to go down actually for September long weekend here, because I'll be just 30 clicks away at my aunt and uncle's, helping them for a couple days as they get their flooring done. And this place is right close. So with any luck, maybe I'll get to go back here before the summer is done. Is there a really? There's you can take the boat to the state's border through the lake. I did not know that. That the lake actually is that far south that it borders the U.S. I would believe that. Again, going further up into the closed off area. Like, how do these? It just blows my mind. Beautiful, whatever it is, however it was created. Just magical nature. It's nature. Oh, absolutely. It was awesome with my mom. And doesn't that look sus? Like, how? I don't get it. These things look sus to me. It's intelligently created one way or another. Just pure beauty. Every which way you look. Amazing, amazing beauty. Sadly, all the smoke in the sky in every single picture I have taken this summer, everywhere I've gone to explore, just covered in smoke. Once again, does this cut? Is it carved? Like, what's going on here? Looking kind of sus. Potential, like, quarry site even, or artificially cut out potentially. Like, I just don't get how they say it erodes and then it's being eroded at 40-degree angles every which way. Like, it just, how does it erode into blocks? That doesn't make sense. Good call, Logan Roth. Vanilla sky with all the smoke. Is that what it's been all this time? Is that what vanilla sky is? It's just smoky? That would make sense in the industrial steam age. Maybe that's all it was. Nah, because there's lots of evidence of pictures that are cropped too, so who knows? Combination of. But here we go. Oh, there you can see the mountain clearly. Huh. Some areas it's smokier than others, I guess. So I guess it's the exposure. There you can't see the mountain in the background, really. Here I am coming back out of the area. I would have gone up further, but my dog pulled me over and I fell into a pool. And thus I turned back around. But look at that. Look at that beauty. Just next level, this place. It was... I'm going back August 29th or 30th. No doubt about it. Auntie Sherry and Uncle Bob can take me there for helping them after their flooring is done. That's what the deal will be. Here we go, going into Waterton Lake. This giant chateau, royal chateau again. And above it in the mountains, you can see what look like fortresses in the background. Potential pyramid fortresses. They were very sus. And like, is that a yelling titan possibly even? I don't know. Or is it a fortress? I don't know. It's very sus. And this looks very pyramidal, very sus as well at the top. Here's from the town of Waterton, looking at some of the other mountains in the area. Very, very sus. That looks more natural, but what the heck is this geology? And there you go, Waterton Lake and the chateau and the docks. One angle. Kaboom, that royal chateau. Must be nice to be able to afford that, eh? Thank you. Take a little trip with me. Bless you. And let us continue looking. So the chateau, right as you come into the Waterton town and marina. And then there's the Waterton. Like, look at this thing. What the heck is on top? Looks suspect to me. Looks suspect to me. Absolutely beautiful regardless. And here we got a ram molting for the summer season. Ram's butt. Pedestrian crossing? No, that was a ram crossing. We had mountain sheep. Mountain goat. No, that was mountain sheep. And there's the waterfall. Look at this, right in the town of Waterton itself. Like, just beyond beauty, every which way you go. It's phenomenal, right? I think so. Quite possibly. Just so beautiful. It's magical, magical place, Waterton National Park. Really next level spot. Oh, it's almost like a video of a waterfall, eh? Sadly, I have to click so slow you don't get the buffering and it actually loads. So this is kitty corner, the marina behind the chateau, and then this is right on the lake on the opposite side, behind the waterfall. Boom, here is Waterton Lake and beach. Just absolutely stunning and beautiful as well. And I do have shorts that I've recorded and uploaded on my channels of from all of these locations that I recommend everybody check out if you want to see more of these sites. Like, just absolutely breathtaking every which way you go here. And like these sus mountains, I don't know, I just something more to them to me. And here's the river coming from that waterfall into Waterton Lake. And the Waterton River itself empties out and goes by the town of Glenwood that my aunt and uncle live in. It's only about 10 kilometers, passes about 10 kilometers away in front on the highway to Glenwood from where my aunt and uncle live. Further east in the prairies, or foothills, I should say, of southern Alberta, just east of Waterton National Park. Right? Like I too wonder what's in or under those mountains here though. Like just absolute beauty, but also mystery, right? Because what is lurking in or under these things? Like, look at that water, just as pure as you can get. And do we got a pyramid on top of that one? Potentially. Looking suspect. Oh, all right. Well, I guess that is the end of that photo gallery. And we are 1 hour 52 minutes in. 30 souls watching right now between the channels. That's what I get for streaming at 5:20 a.m. in the morning. And let's see what other. Oh my goodness, I haven't even gotten to writing on Stone National Park, which is probably my favorite out of all of the sites that I've explored. Believe it or not, all the beauties. And here you go. Look at this site. These badlands, these hoodoos, these cliffs, just, and is that a pyramid? Potentially. Look at these badlands. Look at the hoodoos, and there's like 50, 60 miles on both sides of the Milk River with these badland hoodoos that's literally 5-6 stories tall in some points, and the most suspect site so far I've found for potential megalithic macro site. And it's dated at inhabited thousands of years old with petroglyphs. I'm going back here, God willing, before the season's done to actually camp and fully explore it for a couple days and take a boat tour of the different petroglyph sites. You can only get to some of the rock art sites by boat tour, and it's just phenomenal, the size of it. I don't buy this official geology narrative either for it. And when you see the actual size of this overall site, it is just mind-boggling. And well, actually, let's go back here. You see police coulee, because they had to, the natives, indigenous, were never really got conquered in this area, but they had to monitor in and out of it because of it. And it really looks, some of the pictures I have of this site from what I did explore looked like straight megalithic sandstone blocks, just like the pyramids of Egypt. It's next level. The different faces. There's Mom again. Shout out to Moms. Moms is a trooper, though. She loves exploring just as much, but as long as there's benches from us. Oh, thank you, Andy Sings, new member. Greatly appreciated. The first earnings of this now 2-hour stream. Bless your soul for becoming a member, my friend. Thank you, Andy Sings. And yes, I will be putting out more member content as well. And a lot of the content that I do put out, it becomes out for members first and then later to the public. But in these different coolies and hoodoos and structures, they are structures. There's no doubt about it to me. And change the color because we're changing the topic. Boom, there we go, to yellow because, well, bless your soul. They try to claim that swallows make these holes, that it's bird holes, yet I'll show some pictures of the swallows' nests that they build outside of the rock that is made from sticks in mud, not chiseled into the rock and sandstone. And look at that. So this is the size of human beings. When that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 4, that's a 5 stories at least, probably 6 down to the river, where the river is itself. I was also up there. Just stunning what's actually in these and the mazes and the possible dwellings that these could have used to been. And they look megalithic. They look, so here you go. So here you can see, oh, those are all the swallow nests. Those are where the swallows live. They build their nests on the outside. They don't chisel them into the inside, okay? And look at those angles and that rock face construction, I think potentially melted away, geopolymer, megalithic potential. Like, look at this. Was it something plasma catastrophe, burnt out, nuked or something? Like, these look, and it also looks like potentially block work that has been covered up by a layer of plaster or facade or something too. That's another potential when looking at these things is, well, are they facading it? And I have about another 10 short videos of myself that I recorded exploring in these hoodoo sites that I have yet to publish and put up, as well as about 5 or 6 that are published on my channels. There we go, a little bit better there. And this is like something you'd find in Turkey, Cappadocia, or like Yemen, or maybe Arizona or something, but this is in Canada, southern Alberta, where I live and where I got to go explore, and hopefully we'll be going back soon. Is this petroglyphs? That's potentially petroglyphs on a giant scale. Oh, no, never mind. That's shadows. I'm tripping out. But that's potential block work. That's what that is. On the opposite side of the river, even more suspect. Every which way. And like, I'm just at the bottom of the site, not even close. Like, it's several kilometers up to the main petroglyph sites. Like, is it megalithic? I suspect. Is that a pyramid mound up there? I suspect. What's buried beneath all of these? Like super, super suspect. I think this is evidence of macro megalithic remnants of pre-cataclysm. Another possible mound in the background. Like these are like probably 8-10 stories tall right there. Like they're huge. Huge. Like I said, my most favorite spot that I made it to and explored so far this year. And I will be going back to this site as well, God willing, before the season is done. These pictures right here just being taken from the bottom of the campground. Like here's someone camping in the campground, the Milk River right there, and you're literally surrounded by these hoodoo badlands all on every side, towering up the canyon sides. And here's the Milk River that you're camped next to, can swim in. I swam in it. It was just gorgeous and amazing. This site, phenomenal. There's stairwell down, sand banks. Like, look at this. This looks like Turkey or Yemen or Saudi Arabia or Syria. No, this is southern Alberta, Canada. That's funny. And I literally have thousands upon thousands of pictures that we took while exploring the site between me and my mom. And that's gonna take hours and hours more. We are 2 hours and 3 minutes in, so I think we will probably cut her off here, and I will be doing full streams on each of these topics coming up in the future. And next Thursday, coming up with Rusty, who lives down in Montana, just 3 miles away from Sage Wall. And Sage Wall, one of the major megalithic sites of Montana. And we'll be covering that this Thursday. Here's a picture of Sage Wall, macro megalithic site, and it is right by Giant's Playground. This is in Cypress Hill, Alberta, megalithic site that I almost made it to. Sorry, this is in Saskatchewan on the intra-provincial park, Cypress Hills, that I'll be making it back to. This is in Giant's Playground in Montana, right next to where Rusty lives as well. He's going to be covering that. Here's some of the geoglyphs of writing on stone. This is petroglyphs of writing on stone park. This one also at Writing Stone. I'll be going back to taking pictures of myself. Here's Red Rock Coulee that I was at. Here is Giant's Playground, Montana. Potential macro megalithic sites. Another petroglyph from Writing on Stone National Park. Here's Giant's Playground, this polygonal geopolymer stone wall there. And then, of course, the Medicine Hat Badlands Guardians site that I was at. Writing on Stone. Giant's Playground. Writing on Stone. Writing on Stone. Writing on Stone. Giant's Playground, Mountain Pyramid and Face. Geoglyph site in Giant's Playground, Montana. Here's another angle of the step pyramid, Giant's Playground. All these macro megalithic structures, absolutely huge. carvings into them, faces. Here's an eagle. Just fascinating sight. Here's the troll and Giants Playground. And I've been seeing things like this all over Alberta for a very long time. And they go down into Montana as well. There's the penguin bird or whatever its type it is. These monoliths in Giants Playground. The Buddha of Giants Playground, the Titan Buddha. Like, look at that. That's Buddha in Montana. Giants Playground. So this is Mystery Rocks, Saskatchewan, Cypress Hill site. Wandering Wolf Mike, have an interview with him coming up. He's also been to that site. It's got lots of footage of it. This is Julie Ryder of Giants Playground site. Here we have, you see the guy there and the guy there of the Guardian site that I will be going back to. Oops, wrong way. Do more of Giants Playground and the polygonal size. These two Titan feet. Omak, Alberta, the giant sun, Canada Stonehenge as it's called. There's that site. Got a giant Titan face right there. I believe that was in Canmore, part of the Three Sisters. Could be wrong. Some of these glacial erratics, Giants Playgrounds. So yeah, that's coming up next Thursday with Rusty from Montana. And here, this is also in Cypress Hills, Alberta, another megalithic site, the same park area that those mystery rocks are in, but the entire park is 150 kilometers in length. Here's the Swan Mountain of Giants Playground. Another face, Giants Playground. Another Giants face in Giants Playground. The Rhino Mountain in Giants Playground. Megalithic site. Here we got another guy, another geoglyph face. This in Giants Playground, Montana. And this is Writing on Stone, Montana. Julie Ryder, Giants Playground. Just look at that. So hopefully I can make it there this year, if not next year for sure. But we'll be talking with Rusty here about it upcoming next Thursday. This is Okotoks, Alberta. I've also done a live stream from here. We got faces in it as well. And it is huge. Macro site, very suspect. All suspect. All of them. All super ancient. All over the place that they say there wasn't ancient life, but there was ancient macro society, macro civilization construction everywhere. All right, I'm losing my voice. We're 2 hours and 10 minutes in. Good time to end. Mystery megalith face on a remote native island in Canada. This is off Victoria Island in Western Canada Pacific. Another big face you can only see from space. And that's about it. Macro Badlands runes from pre-cataclysm and the time of giants and titans. That's what I believe we found. Viking beard squid hat. That's where I explored. And this looks like a face to me. This is part of the Three Sisters in Canmore, Alberta mountains. It's all just breathtaking. look for more shorts coming out and peruse my shorts. That's what we should do before we end this. Make sure you go subscribe to my channels, Crypto Alchemist and BurnEye, Mine's Third Eye, ScienceGuy, because I've got so many videos and shorts of all the beautiful places that I have explored this year. And let's see. Is this the one? There we go. Come on. Videos. Is it you? Of course it wants to crash because I'm live. It doesn't want to work so I can show you anything. But yeah, subscribe to Crypto Alchemist. Subscribe to BurnEye. Subscribe on Rumble. I should probably post that link before we're done. Also live on 2 Rumble channels right now. Please subscribe to Rumble. And I am completely crowdfunded. So if any of you beautiful souls can afford to support me and help me get back to these places, all donations are highly recommended or appreciated and needed. And here we go. Bow Summit, world famous Bash Nash. Look at this. You see, they won't even give me monetization on shorts of mountains that I've taken. It's ridiculous. So like, oh, that blocks that breaks our rules and regulations. Sorry, you can't do that. Boom. See, look at this. One of my little shorts. Bow Summit. I was hiking there literally yesterday with my dad. There's my 78-year-old dad coming up on the left. There's Grandpa. There's my dad. Yeah. All in the shorts. Check them out. Lots of them. I'll be out hiking again next week. So, love y'all. Thank you for watching. And we will catch you all on the next one. Ta-ta. Ta-ta-ta. these. Definitely worth rewatch. Much love.